Welcome back to GBGuns. We've got something new in an old style box from Smith Wesson. The M&P Shield 2.0 is coming up next on GBGuns. So it's pretty much the standard Smith & Wesson cardboard box that we've come to see. And love it or hate it, I think there's two schools of thought on how to package a handgun. Either you do something like this, knowing that most people are just going to throw it away, or you have to go full out and do a big fancy kit in a lockable hard side, can travel with it style box. All the stuff in between ends up in that awkward pile in the closet. Am I right? Let's take a look at the gun. So obviously I've already played with this, I've had it out a bit. It does come in the rust preventative and padded blue bag. We get our owner's manual, the child safety lock, and an additional flush fitting magazine. The extended magazine is what comes in the gun itself. Taking a look at the manual, 3-color, plenty of illustrations, should make for new person, new gun friendliness. Let's get that out of the way and take a look at the gun. Zoom in a bit for this little single stack 9. Now the classic Shield has become pretty much a staple for what a single stack 9 is. They were great guns at a reasonable price. Then we had some flash sales in late 2016, early 2017, made these things too cheap to say no to, and everyone was wondering why, and it's probably because Smith & Wesson was positioning themselves for this one to come out, version 2.0. We've shown clear, and let's take a look around the gun. Slide to frame fit. Definitely have some side to side wriggle there. Barrel locks in the slide nice and tight. Now one of the changes for the 2.0 is we do have these front slide serrations. They're itty bitty, but they are there. The good news is this shelf here makes for plenty of traction to be able to press check if those serrations aren't going to be enough for you. The front sight is dovetailed in. We do have a loaded chamber window. These are better than nothing. I still prefer something tactile. The trigger is still that pivoting type. See, that bottom portion has to move for the trigger to move. Otherwise, it's locked fairly well in place. The stippling has changed. It's gotten much more aggressive. I wonder if it's going to be too aggressive on the skin, but in the hand it certainly holds on tightly. Our magazine release, let's do our mag check. Does it release or does it eject? Looks like we have ejection, which is good. That's what I like to see, because that means it's going to come out nice and easily. This is an 8-rounder. It also comes with a 7-rounder that is flush fit. Leaves my pinky dangling, but that would be 7 plus 1 for a total 8. Slide to frame fit on the back. Still a little bit of wriggle. There's our sight picture, the 3 dots. Our steel does not have the step for that emergency rack it off something hard method, so sorry G.I. Joes, you're going to have to figure out a different method to do that. External extractor. Looks on the outside very similar to the original with just a few updates. So before I get to field stripping this, I want to make a note. We're adding something to this video. You're going to get to hear Erica's first handling impressions on this. That's something that you normally don't get in our tabletops. So we'll field strip this, take a look inside, put it back together, and then Erica will tell you what her thoughts are. So for field stripping, of course, I want to show clear. We're going to lock the slide to the rear, rotate this lever downward, back a little bit on the slide, release, pull the trigger, and it comes off. Now, the change with this is you have that yellow bar there. See that? You can push that down in advance instead of having to pull the trigger. So it's an option for people who are nervous about doing that. But since step 1 is showing a clear chamber, you shouldn't have to worry about it. Taking a look at the gun inside. See our steel rail up here. Trigger bar and assembly. All very cleanly machined. and nice lengthy steel rails in the back. That hopefully is indicative of a good long service life and some good accuracy despite the wriggling that we had up front. This really is just, well, Browning called it the dust cover of the gun, because really that's all it's doing is keeping grime from getting in the bottom. This is where all the action is. Taking a look at our slide, we've got a two-part captured flat coil spring, which is nice. That two-stage typically helps reduce in recoil while still being easy enough to rack. Looking inside our slide, very clean machining. Nice even coat, you can tell it's been test fired. Safety plunger has a rounded shoulder. That's probably part of what has made the trigger feel better on these. Everything else pretty cleanly put together. Before we take a look at our barrel, no crowning, short little guy. Do have some polish on where the feed ramp is. As far as chamber support, as always, we'll use our Nozzler match grade because this has been the stuff that's proven to be the most consistent for us. Drop that in. You can see a little bit of the back end of the casing exposed, but nothing terrible, and really having that much exposed probably just going to aid in extraction, not cause any increased risk for a ruptured casing. I'll get this thing back together and then we'll hear from Erica.
Alright, so I'm going to make my debut on the tabletop here and talk a little bit about the Shield 2.0. So I was actually really excited when this one came out of the box. Excited when we heard that there was going to be a new version, and then excited when I saw it because it wasn't too much different than what we've had or seen in the past from them and the Shield. I'm always bummed when you have a really awesome firearm and they come and they make another version and they change your favorite features. So yes, I said I like this. When I was considering my carry gun, I was very close to getting a Shield, and the things that I didn't like about it have been changed. Just in my initial handling of it, I'm going to say that the stippling may be just a little bit too aggressive. But aesthetically it's nice. I like the serrations up here for a nice little press check. It still fits all of those features that you would want to have, great sights that are going to give you quick acquisition of your target, and a nicer trigger. That was probably one of the main reasons that I did not decide to make this my carry gun initially. But I think now it'll be interesting to see what it feels like on the range, but this could be a strong contender for anyone looking for an easy to conceal carry gun. I'm excited to see how it performs.
Okay, there you've heard it from Erica. She's got high hopes for this gun, and so far likes it. That's not something, to be honest with you, I hear very often when I bring new guns home. So we'll get out to the range. As always, you'll see our multi-load test, in which we'll run as many reasonable loads through this gun as we can get our hands on. That's from the super lightweight to the super heavyweight, long bullets, short bullets, different ogives, etc. If it's chambered 9mm, we're going to try it. Then after that function test, we'll each do our 5-shot groupings at 7 yards and give you our impressions of shooting the gun. See you on the range.